Imagine standing in the middle of a raging storm, the wind howling, rain driving down on you, and the chaos pulling you in every direction. That storm is how our emotions can feel: powerful, overwhelming, and seemingly beyond control. But what if I told you there's a way to not just survive that storm, but to stand calm and steady in its very center? This is where the ancient philosophy of Stoicism steps in. Stoicism is not about suppressing emotions or pretending they don't exist. It's about mastering them, choosing how to respond, and finding peace amidst life's inevitable challenges. Over the next few minutes, we're going to dive into 20 timeless Stoic ideas that have guided individuals for centuries. These ideas are not abstract theories, but practical tools you can start using today to take control of your emotions. From handling stress and anger to finding gratitude and focus, each principle we explore is designed to help you live with clarity and resilience in the modern world. So, if you're ready to transform the way you navigate your emotions and discover a sense of calm no matter what life throws at you, stay tuned. Let's get started. Now, turning to our first Stoic idea, let's explore the practice of acknowledging your emotions without judgment. This is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy and a vital first step in mastering our inner world. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most notable Stoic philosophers, often wrote about observing emotions as if from a distance, like a scientist studying a phenomenon. In his Meditations, he encourages us to view our feelings objectively without assigning them labels like good or bad. Imagine this: when anger or sadness arises, instead of letting it consume you or rushing to suppress it, you simply acknowledge its presence. There is anger, there is sadness, you might say, just as you would note the arrival of a passing cloud. This act of recognition creates a powerful pause, a moment of self-awareness where you can decide how to respond rather than react impulsively. A practical way to cultivate this habit is by journaling your emotions. At the end of each day, write down what you felt when you felt it and why you think it surfaced. Over time, you'll start noticing patterns, triggers, and how certain emotions tend to dominate in specific situations. Another strategy is taking a few deep breaths in moments of emotional upheaval, giving yourself those extra seconds to reflect before acting. By acknowledging your emotions without judgment, you strip them of their power to dictate your behavior. This isn't about denying or avoiding emotions. It's about realizing you are not your feelings. You observe them, but they do not control you. Moving forward, let's dive into the next transformative idea that builds on this foundation. Moving forward, let's delve into the second Stoic idea, embracing the dichotomy of control. This concept, championed by the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, revolves around a simple yet profound truth: there are things within your control, and there are things outside of it. Understanding this distinction is key to regaining emotional balance. Imagine you are stuck in traffic, watching the minutes tick by as frustration bubbles up inside you. Now ask yourself, can you control the traffic? Of course not, but you can control how you respond. Instead of stewing in anger, you could use this time to listen to an audiobook, practice deep breathing, or simply observe the world around you. This shift in focus transforms a powerless situation into an opportunity for growth. Another example might be worrying about someone else's opinion of you. Their thoughts and feelings are entirely outside your sphere of control, yet how much time do we waste stressing over them? What you can control, however, is how you present yourself and whether you choose to act with integrity. By concentrating on your own actions and choices, you liberate yourself from the emotional turmoil of trying to dictate others' responses. A practical way to apply this principle is to create a mental checklist in challenging situations. Ask yourself, what here is within my power to change, and what must I simply accept as it is? Over time, this practice will sharpen your ability to let go of what you cannot influence and channel your energy into what truly matters: your thoughts, your actions, your responses. By embracing the dichotomy of control, you free yourself from unnecessary frustration and cultivate a sense of inner peace. Now, with this perspective in mind, let's explore the next transformative Stoic practice that strengthens emotional resilience. Now turning to the third Stoic idea, let's explore the practice of negative visualization. This Stoic exercise involves imagining worst-case scenarios, not as a way to invite negativity, but as a tool to build emotional strength and a deeper sense of gratitude. The idea is simple. By mentally rehearsing potential losses or challenges, you can prepare your mind to face adversity with calm and resilience. For instance, think about a possession you deeply value, like your favorite piece of jewelry or a cherished family heirloom. Now take a moment to imagine losing it. How would you feel? How would you cope? By confronting this possibility in your mind, you reduce the fear of sudden loss and learn to cherish what you have even more deeply while you still possess it. Another example could be a career opportunity you are aiming for. Imagine the opportunity slipping away despite your best efforts. Visualizing this outcome allows you to calmly rehearse your response, helping you accept life's uncertainties while continuing to strive forward. This practice doesn't mean dwelling on negative thoughts or becoming fatalistic. It's quite the opposite. Negative visualization equips you to handle setbacks with grace and gratitude. By facing fears in a controlled, imaginary environment, you strip them of their power over you. You also gain a greater appreciation for the present moment because the act of imagining loss often highlights the unnoticed value in what you currently have. Start small with this exercise. Spend a few minutes each day reflecting on something you value or a scenario you fear, and visualize how you would respond if it were taken away. Over time, this practice strengthens your emotional resilience and fosters a mindset that is both grounded and grateful. With this powerful perspective in mind, let's move on to the fourth Stoic principle that transforms how we respond to life's challenges. Now turning to the fourth Stoic idea, let's delve into the profound concept of Amor Fati, which translates to the love of fate. This principle invites us to not only accept everything that happens in life, but to embrace it as necessary and even good. It is a mindset rooted in gratitude rather than resistance, teaching us to find value in every event, no matter how challenging it may seem. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it." This quote embodies Amor Fati by encouraging us to transform life's difficulties into growth and wisdom. Instead of resisting or resenting what happens, we can see each moment as an opportunity to strengthen our character. Picture a common frustration standing in a long line at the grocery store. Instead of feeling irritated, you could view this time as a chance to practice patience or reflect on what went well in your day. Or consider a more significant challenge like losing a job or facing a personal failure. Rather than succumbing to anger or despair, you can ask yourself, how can this experience help me grow? Is there a lesson I can take from this? Embracing Amor Fati does not mean passively accepting injustice or giving up on aspirations. Instead, it is about cultivating an inner resilience and gratitude that allows us to navigate life with grace and courage. A modern way to practice Amor Fati is to reframe small, everyday annoyances as opportunities for growth. The next time you face a delay, a difficult conversation, or an unexpected setback, pause and remind yourself, this is part of life and I choose to embrace it. By doing so, you train your mind to respond to life's unpredictability with calm acceptance rather than frustration. Over time, this perspective not only helps you master your emotions, but also brings a sense of peace and purpose to your journey. With this transformative mindset in place, let's move forward to the fifth Stoic idea that builds mental resilience through deliberate practice. Now turning to the fifth Stoic idea, let's explore the practice of voluntary discomfort. This concept challenges us to step out of our comfort zones intentionally, exposing ourselves to small, manageable hardships to build mental and emotional resilience. At its core, voluntary discomfort is about strengthening your ability to face life's inevitable difficulties with a calm and steady mind. The Stoics believed that luxury and ease often soften our mental resilience, making us more susceptible to emotional distress when things go wrong. By deliberately experiencing discomfort, we train ourselves to endure challenges without being overwhelmed. Take fasting as an example. Choosing to skip a meal not only provides a new perspective on hunger, but also makes you appreciate the food you usually take for granted. Similarly, something as simple as taking a cold shower can teach you to endure temporary discomfort while sharpening your focus and self-discipline. These practices are not meant to be extreme or harmful, but rather deliberate exercises that make you less reactive to both minor irritations and major adversities in life. Imagine getting caught in unexpected rain on your commute. If you've conditioned yourself to handle discomfort through small practices like these, you're less likely to spiral into frustration or irritation. Instead, you can shrug off the inconvenience and keep moving forward. Modern Stoics often adapt these ideas by incorporating activities like minimalist living, spending time without digital distractions, or even walking rather than driving short distances. These small, intentional challenges remind us that we can thrive without constant conveniences, enabling us to navigate life with a sense of control and calm. Voluntary discomfort also serves as a reminder that our happiness is not dependent on external comforts. It shifts your focus inward, helping you realize that true strength comes from mastering your reactions rather than avoiding discomfort altogether. As you incorporate these practices, you'll find yourself becoming more adaptable and less emotionally shaken by life's unpredictability. With this Stoic exercise in mind, let's transition to the sixth idea, which emphasizes the power of reason in managing emotional impulses. Now turning to the sixth Stoic idea, let's delve into the power of using reason to challenge emotional impulses. At the heart of Stoic philosophy is the belief that rational thinking should guide our actions, not the fleeting grips of emotion. Emotions like anger, jealousy, or fear often feel overpowering in the moment, but the Stoics taught us to pause, reflect, and analyze before reacting. A simple yet effective method is to question the emotion as it arises. Ask yourself, is this truly as bad as it seems, or what's the worst that could happen? These questions help to distance you from the intensity of the moment and shift your mindset toward a more objective perspective. For example, let's say you feel anger bubbling up because someone cut you off in traffic. Instead of lashing out or letting it ruin your day, try reframing the situation. Perhaps the other driver made a mistake or is rushing to an emergency. By choosing to see the situation through a lens of understanding rather than judgment, you diffuse your anger and regain control of your emotions. Similarly, when jealousy strikes, maybe over a colleague's promotion, you can use reason to remind yourself that their success doesn't diminish your own. Reflect on the effort they might have put in and redirect your energy toward improving your own skills. These moments are opportunities to practice rational detachment, a core Stoic discipline. Picture this as a mental exercise like building muscle at the gym. Each time you challenge an impulse with reason, you strengthen your ability to stay composed in future situations. It's not about suppressing emotions altogether, but about ensuring they don't dictate your actions. Over time, this habit of reasoning through impulses transforms your emotional responses, allowing you to approach life's challenges calmly and thoughtfully. With this Stoic principle in mind, let's now explore the seventh idea, which invites us to reflect on the profound impact of mortality on our emotional well-being. With the next phase of the journey in sight, let's uncover the powerful Stoic practice of memento mori, which translates to remember you will die. While it may seem somber at first glance, reflecting on mortality is an incredibly liberating exercise. The Stoics believed that by keeping the reality of death in mind, we are better equipped to appreciate life and respond to challenges with clarity and purpose. Seneca, one of the great Stoic thinkers, advised that we should frequently remind ourselves of life's impermanence, not to dwell in sadness, but to live fully and without regret. By acknowledging that our time is limited, we strip away trivial fears and emotional excesses that distract us from what truly matters. Fear of criticism, anger over minor inconveniences, or stress about future uncertainties lose their grip when viewed through the lens of mortality. Imagine this: if today were your last day, would you choose to waste time on petty arguments or grudges? Likely not. This perspective fosters gratitude and intentionality in how we spend our energy. A practical way to engage with memento mori is to write down what you'd want to accomplish if you knew today was your final day. This exercise can act as a filter, highlighting what is genuinely important versus what is inconsequential. It's not about living recklessly, but about aligning your actions with your values. Another meaningful reflection is to consider how you'd want to be remembered. Are your current decisions and priorities shaping the legacy you'd like to leave behind? These practices anchor you in the present and encourage you to act with virtue and purpose. Far from being morbid, memento mori is a tool for emotional liberation, helping us to rise above fear, anger, and regret by focusing on living well in the time we have. With this transformative idea in mind, let's now explore the 8th practice, which focuses on understanding our emotional triggers through introspection. Now turning to the 8th Stoic practice, let's delve into the power of understanding emotional triggers through introspection. The key here is to identify the root cause of your emotions so you can respond with clarity instead of reacting impulsively. Think of emotions as signals. They are trying to tell you something about your inner world. By pausing to ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? You create space for rational thought to enter. For example, imagine you feel a sudden surge of anger when someone interrupts you during a conversation. Instead of snapping back, take a moment to reflect. Is your anger truly about the interruption, or does it stem from a deeper insecurity, such as feeling overlooked or undervalued? Introspection allows you to uncover these underlying layers and address the real issue at hand rather than escalating conflicts. A practical way to engage in this process is to set aside time each day to review moments where your emotions intensified. Ask yourself what triggered those feelings and whether your reaction aligned with your values. Journaling these reflections can be especially helpful in spotting patterns. For instance, you might notice that sadness often arises after scrolling through social media, perhaps because you are comparing your life to others. Recognizing this trigger gives you the power to set boundaries with your social media use, protecting your emotional well-being. Another example could involve disappointment after receiving criticism. Instead of letting it fester, introspection might reveal that the disappointment comes from perfectionism or fear of failure. With this insight, you can reframe constructive criticism as an opportunity to grow rather than a personal attack. The beauty of introspection lies in its ability to replace emotional chaos with self-awareness and intentionality. When you understand your triggers, you regain control over your emotional landscape and can navigate challenges with calm and confidence. This practice not only helps you diffuse negative emotions, but also strengthens your emotional resilience over time. With the insights from introspection at hand, let's move forward to the 9th practice, which highlights the importance of focusing on present actions. Now turning to the 9th practice, let's explore the transformative power of focusing on present actions. The Stoics remind us that the past is beyond our ability to change, and the future remains unpredictable. What we truly have is the present moment, and it is within this moment that our actions hold power. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present," encouraging us to ground ourselves in what we can do right now instead of worrying about yesterday's mistakes or tomorrow's uncertainties. Imagine this: you are overwhelmed by regret over something you said during a meeting or anxious about an upcoming presentation. The Stoic approach urges you to shift your thoughts to what you can control in the present. Rather than dwelling on the past comment or obsessing over the future event, direct your energy toward the task at hand, whether it's completing your current project or preparing thoughtfully for that presentation. This practice not only minimizes stress but also enhances the quality of your work by keeping your focus sharp and intentional. To put this philosophy into practice, try pausing throughout the day to ask yourself, what am I doing right now? And am I fully present for it? These simple questions help redirect scattered thoughts and bring you back to the moment. Another helpful exercise is 1-minute breathing. Close your eyes and focus solely on your breath for 60 seconds. This small shift can anchor you in the present, especially during moments of emotional upheaval. For instance, if you're feeling anxious, concentrating on your breathing instead of spiraling into what-if scenarios can provide immediate relief. Focusing on present actions also cultivates gratitude by helping you appreciate the here and now. When you're fully immersed in a conversation, a meal, or even a walk, you begin to notice the small joys that often go unnoticed when your mind is elsewhere. Over time, this practice reduces regret over the past and anxiety about the future, leaving you with a sense of peace and control. By committing to the present, you not only manage emotions more effectively, but also deepen your connection to the life unfolding right before you. With this in mind, let's move forward to the 10th practice, which emphasizes accepting external events as neutral. Now turning to the 10th practice, let's delve into the Stoic principle of accepting external events as neutral. The Stoics teach us that it's not the events themselves that distress us, but rather our interpretations of them. In other words, nothing is inherently good or bad. These are labels we assign based on our perception. Epictetus famously said, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them." Consider this. Imagine receiving criticism at work. Your initial reaction might be frustration or defensiveness, but the Stoic approach would have you pause and examine the situation. The criticism itself is neutral. It's simply someone expressing their perspective. What colors it as negative or positive is how you interpret it. Instead of taking it personally, ask yourself, what can I learn from this feedback? This reframing not only diffuses emotional reactions, but also turns the event into an opportunity for growth. Another example could be experiencing a delay, like being stuck in traffic. While it's tempting to label this situation as irritating, the Stoics would encourage you to see it as neither good nor bad. The delay simply is. What matters is how you respond, perhaps by using the extra time to reflect, listen to an audiobook, or practice patience. To apply this principle in daily life, try mentally labeling external events as neutral before reacting. When something happens, pause and remind yourself, this event has no power over me unless I allow it to. This small shift in perspective can prevent an emotional spiral and help you approach challenges with calm and clarity. Over time, practicing neutrality strengthens your emotional resilience as you learn to separate yourself from automatic reactions. By accepting external events as neutral, you regain control over your inner state, making it easier to respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively. This practice is a powerful reminder that while we cannot control what happens around us, we can always control how we perceive and react to it. With this perspective in mind, let's move forward to the 11th practice, which explores the transformative power of practicing gratitude daily. Now turning to the 11th practice, let's explore the transformative power of practicing gratitude daily. The Stoics believed that gratitude is not just a fleeting emotion, but a fundamental practice that grounds us in contentment and virtue. Seneca emphasized that gratitude is the foundation of all other virtues. It cultivates a sense of abundance and diminishes the grip of envy, frustration, and dissatisfaction. By focusing on what we have rather than what we lack, we shift our perspective from scarcity to sufficiency, which in turn fosters emotional resilience. Imagine starting each day by reflecting on 3 things you are thankful for. These do not have to be grand gestures or life-changing events. Something as simple as a kind word from a friend, a warm cup of coffee, or the opportunity to learn can become sources of gratitude when we take a moment to acknowledge them. A practical way to implement this is by keeping a gratitude journal. At the end of each day, write down a few things you appreciate, no matter how small. Over time, this habit rewires your brain to notice positive aspects of life more readily, reducing the tendency to dwell on what's missing or what went wrong. Another method is to express appreciation directly to others. Thank someone for their support or kindness. It could be a colleague, a loved one, or even a stranger. Not only does this strengthen relationships, but it also reminds you of the interconnected web of support in your life. Practicing gratitude does not mean ignoring challenges or pretending everything is perfect, but rather choosing to focus your energy on what uplifts and sustains you even during difficult times. With consistent practice, gratitude becomes a powerful anchor that helps you navigate emotional storms with grace and clarity. As we continue, let's move to the 12th idea, which emphasizes the importance of distinguishing between emotion and action. Now turning to the 12th idea, the Stoics teach us the crucial distinction between experiencing an emotion and acting on it. They remind us that feeling deeply is a part of being human, and emotions in themselves are not inherently wrong. However, what truly matters is how we respond to them. Acting impulsively based on raw emotion often leads to regret and further complications. Take anger as an example. Imagine being cut off in traffic. Anger may be your immediate response, but how you choose to act makes all the difference. Yelling, honking excessively, or letting that anger ruin your day does not serve you or anyone else. Instead, the Stoics suggest an intentional pause. When you feel the surge of frustration, take a deep breath and remind yourself of what is within your control, your response. Ask yourself, is this moment worth my peace of mind? Or, what can I do to handle this calmly? This brief moment of reflection helps shift your reaction from automatic to deliberate, allowing you to act with reason rather than emotion. Another approach is to reframe the situation by imagining how someone you deeply admire, perhaps a wise mentor or even a historical Stoic like Epictetus, might handle such a moment. This perspective can inspire you to choose patience over outburst. Over time, practicing this pause creates a buffer between emotion and action, giving you the space to respond thoughtfully. Journaling can also help refine this skill. Reflect on moments when you acted out of emotion and consider how you might handle similar situations in the future. By understanding that emotions are fleeting and temporary, but actions have lasting consequences, you begin to master not only your reactions but also the quality of your life. As we move forward, let's explore the 13th idea, which dives into shifting perspectives to maintain emotional equanimity. Now turning to the 13th idea, the Stoics emphasize the transformative power of perspective in managing emotions. Often, the intensity of our feelings is directly tied to how narrowly we view a situation. The Stoics encourage us to take a step back and see our problems through a broader lens, one that incorporates the vastness of the universe and the fleeting nature of time. Imagine finding yourself in the middle of a heated argument, perhaps with a colleague or loved one. In that moment, your emotions may feel overwhelming and the conflict might seem monumental. But now, pause and zoom out. Think of how small this disagreement is when compared to the entirety of your life or even the timeline of human history. This mental shift helps diminish the perceived weight of the problem, allowing you to approach it with greater calm and clarity. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on how our lives, and indeed our troubles, are but a blink in the endless flow of time. By reminding ourselves of this truth, we can maintain perspective and avoid being consumed by temporary frustrations. Another practical way to apply this is to imagine viewing your current issue from the vantage point of someone standing on a distant planet. From such a perspective, the daily stresses, arguments, and worries that seem so significant shrink into insignificance. This universal viewpoint fosters humility and emotional steadiness, helping us realize that most issues are not worth losing our peace over. To cultivate this habit, consider trying a simple mental exercise. The next time you face a challenge, ask yourself, how much will this matter in 1 week, 1 month, or 1 year? Reframing your struggles in this way reduces their emotional grip and allows you to respond more rationally. With this practice, you begin to train your mind to see beyond the immediate moment, maintaining emotional equanimity even in the face of difficulty. As we move forward, let's explore the 14th idea, which delves into the value of cultivating inner virtues to anchor emotions. Moving forward, the 14th idea invites us to explore the profound impact of cultivating inner virtues on mastering emotions. The Stoics believed that virtues like courage, wisdom, justice, and temperance are the anchors of a well-lived life, serving as guiding principles that help us navigate emotional turbulence. Instead of being swept away by the chaos of external circumstances, these virtues direct our focus inward, reminding us that true strength comes from within. Imagine facing a situation where you feel wronged. Perhaps a colleague unfairly takes credit for your work. The initial emotional reaction might be anger or resentment. However, instead of reacting impulsively, consider aligning your response with the virtue of temperance, which emphasizes self-restraint and measured action. By doing so, you can choose to address the issue calmly and constructively rather than letting anger dictate your behavior. Similarly, think of a time when fear might hold you back, whether it is standing up for yourself or pursuing a challenging opportunity. Courage, as a Stoic virtue, empowers you to move forward despite fear, turning moments of uncertainty into opportunities for growth. Wisdom, another cornerstone of Stoicism, helps you discern the right course of action amid emotional confusion. By reflecting on what truly matters and acting accordingly, you reduce emotional instability and foster a sense of inner peace. In modern life, these virtues can shape everyday decisions in profound ways. Choosing honesty over deception, patience over frustration, and generosity over selfishness are all examples of how inner virtues guide us toward emotional steadiness and better outcomes. Each time we align our actions with these principles, we build resilience against the sway of fleeting emotions. To practice this, pause the next time you feel an emotional impulse and ask yourself, what virtue can I embody in this moment? By consistently choosing virtues over impulsive reactions, we create a foundation for emotional mastery and inner growth. As we continue on this journey, let us now delve into the 15th idea, which highlights how emotional setbacks can be reframed as opportunities for growth. Now turning to the 15th idea, let us explore how the Stoics viewed emotional setbacks not as roadblocks but as stepping stones for growth. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most celebrated Stoic philosophers, advised that obstacles are not inherently negative. Instead, they present an opportunity to practice virtue, build resilience, and grow stronger. He famously wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This means that whenever we face a challenge, we have the power to reframe it as a chance to improve ourselves. Imagine experiencing rejection, perhaps not getting a job you were hoping for or being turned down for an opportunity that seemed perfect. The immediate emotional response might be disappointment or self-doubt. However, by reframing the setback as a learning experience, you can use it to refine your skills, seek feedback, or discover a new path that might align with your goals even better. Similarly, think of a time when failure left you feeling defeated, whether it was in academics, a personal project, or a relationship. Instead of dwelling on the negative, you can channel the Stoic mindset by asking, "What can this teach me? How can I grow from this experience?" Each emotional setback becomes a moment to build inner strength and wisdom, transforming adversity into an ally rather than an enemy. Consider how athletes often use losses to fuel their future successes, analyzing what went wrong and committing to coming back stronger. in our everyday lives, this same principle applies. Whether it is criticism from a supervisor at work or a personal disagreement, we can choose to view the situation not as a threat but as an opportunity to develop patience, humility, or better communication skills. The act of reframing rewires our emotional responses, allowing us to approach challenges with curiosity and determination rather than fear or frustration. To practice this, the next time you encounter a setback, pause and ask yourself, what can I gain from this? How can I use this to become better? By consistently reshaping how you perceive obstacles, you develop not only emotional mastery but also a mindset that thrives in the face of challenges. With this foundation laid, let us now move forward to the 16th idea, which revolves around the transformative power of avoiding complaints as a method of emotional discipline. Now turning to the 16th idea, let us delve into the Stoic principle of avoiding complaints as a practice of emotional discipline. The Stoics believed that complaining not only magnifies negative emotions but also diverts our energy away from finding solutions and making progress. When we indulge in complaints, we trap ourselves in a cycle of focusing on problems rather than possibilities, which hinders our ability to move forward. The act of complaining often reinforces feelings like frustration, anger, or helplessness, making them stronger and more difficult to control. For instance, consider a common scenario like dealing with a long line at a grocery store or encountering traffic during your daily commute. Complaining about the situation will not make the line move faster or clear the traffic, but it will amplify your irritation and make the experience feel even worse. Instead, the Stoic response would be to accept the situation as it is and focus on what is within your control, perhaps using the moment to practice patience, listen to an audiobook, or reflect on your day. The key is to shift from a mindset of resistance to one of acceptance and adaptation. Beyond the small, everyday annoyances, this principle also applies to larger challenges in life, such as workplace disagreements or personal setbacks. Complaining about a difficult colleague, for instance, does not resolve the tension or improve the working relationship. However, choosing to approach the situation calmly and seeking constructive ways to address the issue can lead to growth, improved communication, and better outcomes. A practical way to incorporate this principle into your life is to set a personal challenge. Go an entire day without complaining. Each time you catch yourself about to voice a complaint, pause and redirect your thoughts. Ask yourself, is this something I can change? If yes, what action can I take? If not, how can I accept it and move on? You might be surprised at how quickly this habit helps you reframe your perspective and cultivate inner peace. Over time, avoiding complaints does not just improve emotional resilience, it also sharpens your focus on what truly matters, allowing you to invest your energy in meaningful actions rather than draining it on negativity. As you practice this habit, you may find that your interactions with others become more positive and solution-oriented, creating an environment that fosters collaboration and respect. With this powerful idea in mind, let us now move forward to the 17th idea, which explores the art of letting go and how detachment can liberate us from emotional suffering. Now turning to the 17th idea, we explore the art of letting go, a profound Stoic practice that teaches us the power of detachment in overcoming emotional suffering. The Stoics, particularly Epictetus, emphasized that much of our distress arises from clinging to things we cannot keep or control. Whether it is possessions, relationships, or outcomes, the more tightly we hold on, the more susceptible we are to pain when things inevitably change or slip away. Epictetus reminds us that loss is a natural part of life, and resisting this reality only deepens our suffering. Imagine losing an object you cherish, like a favorite piece of jewelry or a sentimental gift. While it is normal to feel a sense of loss, attaching excessive emotional value to the item turns the pain into a prolonged struggle. The Stoic approach would be to remind yourself that nothing is truly yours to keep forever. Everything is borrowed from fortune, and it can be taken back at any moment. This mindset does not diminish appreciation but rather enhances it, allowing you to enjoy what you have without being consumed by fear of its loss. Detachment also applies to relationships. While we value the people in our lives deeply, the Stoics advise against becoming overly dependent on their presence or approval. For example, if a close friend moves away or a romantic relationship ends, an unhealthy attachment can lead to overwhelming grief or even bitterness. Practicing detachment does not mean being cold or indifferent. It means loving and valuing others while accepting the impermanence of all things. A practical way to develop this mindset is to reflect daily on the transient nature of life. When you wake up in the morning, remind yourself that everything you encounter, from your loved ones to your possessions, is temporary. This practice, while sobering, cultivates gratitude and prepares you to face changes with grace. Another method is to mentally rehearse scenarios of loss, not as a means of inviting negativity, but as a way to build emotional resilience. For instance, consider how you would respond if you had to let go of something or someone important to you. By doing this, you train your mind to accept and adapt, reducing the shock and turmoil if or when such events occur. Detachment also involves letting go of outcomes. We often tether our happiness to specific results, whether it is achieving a goal, winning someone's approval, or securing a promotion. The Stoics teach us to focus on our efforts and intentions, which are within our control, rather than obsessing over outcomes which are not. This shift in focus can alleviate anxiety and help you navigate life's uncertainties with greater calmness. Ultimately, the art of letting go brings freedom. It releases you from the chains of clinging and fear, allowing you to approach life with a sense of peace and balance. As you practice detachment, you may find yourself more present, more grateful, and more able to embrace life's ebb and flow without being overwhelmed by its changes. With this liberating concept in mind, let us now move forward to the 18th idea, where we reflect on the vastness of the cosmos and how adopting a universal perspective can transform our emotional outlook. Moving forward to the 18th idea, we delve into the practice of meditating on the cosmos, a Stoic habit designed to shift our perspective and bring clarity to emotional struggles. The Stoics often reflected on the vastness of the universe to remind themselves of their place in the grand scheme of existence. This practice helps diminish the weight of daily frustrations and cultivates a sense of humility by revealing how small our individual concerns are in the context of something so immense. Picture yourself standing under a star-filled night sky. As you gaze at the countless stars stretching into infinity, consider how many generations have lived before you, how many will come after, and how brief and fleeting your current worries truly are. This simple act of imagining your life as a single thread in the intricate tapestry of the cosmos can help you see challenges as less overwhelming and more temporary. The Stoics believed that this perspective enables us to let go of trivial grievances and reconnect with what truly matters. For instance, a missed deadline or a frustrating argument might feel significant in the moment, but when viewed against the backdrop of the universe, such events lose their intensity. This exercise is not about dismissing emotions, it is about reframing them in a way that allows us to regain control. A practical way to incorporate this habit into your life is to take a few moments each day to visualize yourself as a small, integral part of the greater whole. Close your eyes and imagine the Earth spinning in the vastness of space, with your existence as one of billions. Reflect on the interconnectedness of life and how your actions, though modest, contribute to the harmony of the universe. This can foster a sense of purpose and reduce the tendency to dwell on minor setbacks. Another approach is to read or listen to thoughts from Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, who frequently meditated on the universe's immensity in his writings. Applying this practice not only calms the mind, but also encourages gratitude for the opportunity to be part of something so boundless and extraordinary. As you adopt this cosmic perspective, you may notice a profound shift in how you process your emotions. By placing your worries into a larger context, you create emotional space to focus on what you can control and let go of what you cannot. With this expansive and liberating mindset, let us now transition to the 19th idea, where we explore the power of self-distancing and how stepping outside ourselves can guide us through life's most intense emotional moments. Now turning to the 19th idea, we explore the concept of engaging in self-distancing, a practice rooted in Stoic wisdom that invites us to step outside of ourselves during emotionally charged moments. The essence of this approach is to view your situation from a third-person perspective, almost as if you were an impartial observer or a supportive friend. By doing this, you create a mental space that allows for clearer thinking and measured responses. Imagine, for example, that you are caught in a heated argument. Instead of reacting impulsively, pause and ask yourself, what would a wise mentor or trusted friend advise me to do right now? This simple mental shift can provide the clarity needed to diffuse emotional intensity and choose a more constructive course of action. The Stoics often emphasize the power of reason, and self-distancing is a tool to access that reason when emotions threaten to take over. Another effective method is to write about your situation as if it were happening to someone else. Describe the problem objectively, then consider what advice you would give to this person. Would you tell them to act out of anger or fear, or would you counsel patience, understanding, and thoughtful action? This practice not only helps you gain perspective, but also trains your mind to separate emotions from decisions. The beauty of self-distancing lies in its ability to transform how we interpret our experiences. It reminds us that while emotions are natural, they do not have to dictate our behavior. By stepping outside ourselves, we can evaluate what truly matters and respond in ways that align with our values. Try incorporating this habit into your daily life by reflecting on moments when you felt overwhelmed. Replay those instances in your mind, but this time imagine observing yourself from a distance. How would you interpret your actions? What advice would you give that version of you? Over time, this mental exercise strengthens your ability to remain composed even in the face of life's toughest challenges. As we adopt this enlightening practice, we prepare ourselves for the 20th and final idea, where we will uncover the profound strength found in mastering the art of silence. Now turning to the 20th and final idea, we delve into the Stoic practice of mastering the art of silence, a discipline that holds immense power in managing emotions and fostering inner peace. At its core, this idea teaches us the value of restraint, urging us to pause before we speak or react, especially in emotionally intense situations. Imagine being in a disagreement where tensions are running high. Instead of immediately defending yourself or escalating the conflict, take a moment to remain silent. In that silence, you allow space for emotions to settle, clarity to emerge, and reason to guide your next steps. The Stoics believed that unnecessary words could stir unnecessary emotions, and so they emphasized the importance of using speech sparingly and purposefully. Silence is not about avoiding communication altogether, but about speaking with intention and wisdom. Another aspect of this practice is resisting the urge to participate in gossip or idle chatter, which often leads to misunderstandings or negativity. By choosing silence in such moments, you preserve your energy and focus on what truly matters. A practical exercise to cultivate this habit is dedicating an entire day to speaking only when absolutely necessary. During this period, observe how often the impulse to speak arises and reflect on whether your words would contribute value or simply fill the void. Over time, this mindful approach to communication trains you to distinguish between what needs to be said and what can remain unspoken. Silence also creates a space for deeper listening, not just to others but to yourself. It sharpens your awareness of thoughts and emotions, helping you respond deliberately rather than react impulsively. Through mastering this art, you discover that silence is not a void but a powerful tool for self-control and emotional mastery. As we conclude these 20 transformative Stoic practices, we are reminded that managing emotions is not about suppressing them but about guiding them with wisdom and intention. Each idea serves as a stepping stone toward a life of greater clarity, resilience, and inner calm. Now turning to a deeper understanding of emotional awareness, we explore how enhancing this foundational skill can transform the way we navigate life's emotional challenges. Emotional awareness begins with the simple yet profound act of recognizing what we feel in the moment without judgment or suppression. One powerful technique for cultivating this awareness is mindfulness. By practicing mindfulness, such as focusing on your breath while observing your emotions, you can create a mental space to notice feelings as they arise without becoming overwhelmed by them. For instance, in a moment of anger, mindfulness allows you to observe the sensation as heat or tension in your body, rather than immediately reacting with harsh words or actions. Another effective method is structured self-reflection, such as journaling about your emotional experiences. Writing down what you felt, what triggered it, and how you responded provides clarity and helps you identify recurring patterns over time. For example, through reflection, you might notice that anxiety often arises before important meetings, empowering you to prepare calming strategies in advance. Recognizing and naming emotions is another key step. Simply identifying a feeling as sadness, frustration, or fear reduces its intensity and gives you a sense of control. The Stoics believed that emotions themselves are not the enemy. It is our lack of understanding them that leads to poor decisions. By becoming more aware, you can intercept moments where impulsive reactions might otherwise take over. Imagine being in a heated discussion. Emotional awareness might help you realize that your frustration is tied more to feeling unheard than to the actual topic. This realization can guide you to address the real issue calmly, rather than escalating the argument. Over time, these practices train your mind to treat emotions not as uncontrollable forces but as signals offering valuable insights. Through consistent effort, emotional awareness not only prevents bad decisions but also strengthens your ability to respond with wisdom and composure, paving the way toward a life of greater emotional mastery. Moving forward, let's delve deeper into the Stoic principle of control versus influence, a practice that brings clarity and peace when life feels overwhelming. At its core, this idea teaches us to distinguish between what is within our power and what is not, allowing us to redirect our energy more effectively. Take workplace conflicts as an example. Imagine a scenario where a colleague's behavior frustrates you. While you cannot control their actions, you can influence the situation by choosing how you respond, perhaps through calm, constructive communication or by setting clear boundaries. By focusing on your reactions rather than obsessing over changing others, you conserve both emotional and mental energy. Now consider personal relationships. Let's say a loved one is struggling to make a decision that you strongly disagree with. Instead of trying to control their choice, which is beyond your reach, you could provide thoughtful advice and then accept their autonomy in choosing their path. This approach not only preserves the relationship but also helps you manage the emotional weight of the situation more effectively. To take this practice further, try visualizing a mental control filter. Picture a sieve through which you pour your worries, letting only the parts you can act on pass through while the rest falls away. For instance, if you are anxious about an upcoming presentation, focus on what you can control, like preparing thoroughly or rehearsing, while letting go of concerns about how others might judge you. This mental exercise sharpens your ability to separate actionable steps from unproductive fears. Over time, practicing this distinction rewires your habits of thought, making it easier to release the stress tied to external outcomes. By embracing the dichotomy of control in this way, you cultivate an inner calm, knowing that your energy is focused where it truly matters. As we continue this journey, we will explore other transformative Stoic strategies to further strengthen emotional resilience. Now turning to the idea of embracing challenges, we arrive at the Stoic concept of Amor Fati, or the love of fate, which urges us to welcome all of life's events, both good and bad, as essential threads in the fabric of our existence. This practice begins with reframing our perspective on setbacks and adversities. Imagine losing out on a job opportunity you had been striving for. Instead of succumbing to disappointment or frustration, a Stoic approach would involve viewing this as necessary for your personal growth. Could this setback be pushing you toward a path that better aligns with your talents and purpose? By accepting the situation with gratitude rather than resistance, you open yourself to new possibilities. Consider the story of Thomas Edison, who, after a fire destroyed much of his laboratory, famously remarked that the disaster cleared out old mistakes, giving him a chance to start anew. This perspective embodies Amor Fati, the ability to perceive every setback not as a loss but as an opportunity to adapt, rebuild, and improve. On a smaller scale, think of daily frustrations like being stuck in traffic or facing a sudden change in plans. These moments, though seemingly trivial, are perfect opportunities to practice resilience. Instead of reacting with irritation, try reframing the situation as a test of your patience or flexibility. Ask yourself, how can I respond in a way that aligns with my values? Over time, this habit of reframing builds emotional strength, allowing you to navigate life's unpredictability with grace. To make Amor Fati a daily practice, start by keeping a journal where you reflect on challenges you faced throughout the day and write down how you could view them as opportunities for growth. This simple exercise trains your mind to find purpose and meaning in every event, anchoring you in the belief that all experiences, even the difficult ones, are essential steps in your journey. By embracing this mindset, you transform adversity into a teacher and setbacks into stepping stones for a richer, more meaningful life. With this concept of loving fate guiding your perspective, let's now explore additional tools the Stoics used to fortify emotional resilience. Moving forward, let's delve into the art of cultivating rationality, a cornerstone of Stoic practice that empowers us to respond to emotional impulses with clarity and reason. At its core, this concept is rooted in the belief that our emotions often arise not from the events themselves but from our interpretation of those events. To develop a habit of rational thinking, the Stoics encourage us to start by questioning automatic thoughts. For example, if you find yourself feeling angry after receiving critical feedback, pause and ask, is this criticism truly harmful, or could it be an opportunity for self-improvement? By dissecting the trigger, you can separate the facts from emotional distortions. Another powerful exercise is using a journal to track your reactions. At the end of each day, write down moments where you felt overwhelmed by emotions. Then, evaluate those situations rationally. What were the actual events? How did your emotions amplify or distort them? This practice not only enhances your self-awareness but also trains your mind to analyze situations more objectively in the future. Additionally, consider adopting a mental filter to assess your initial response to challenges. Ask yourself questions like, is this reaction based on fact or assumption? Are there other ways to view this situation that might reduce its emotional impact? Over time, these reflective habits create a mental framework that prioritizes reason over impulse. Imagine someone cutting you off in traffic. The automatic response might be frustration or anger, but a Stoic perspective encourages you to pause and think, is this worth my peace of mind? Could I instead interpret this as a moment to practice patience? By consistently choosing rationality, you not only reduce the intensity of negative emotions but also improve your ability to handle life's uncertainties. Cultivating this mental discipline is like building a muscle. the more you practice, the stronger it becomes. As you refine your rational thinking, you'll find yourself better equipped to navigate emotional challenges with composure and wisdom. Now, with this foundation of rationality in place, let's shift our focus to another essential Stoic practice, staying grounded in the present moment. Now turning to the importance of staying grounded in the present moment, this Stoic principle serves as a powerful tool for reducing anxiety and regret. When we focus on what we are doing right now, we free ourselves from the weight of the past and the uncertainty of the future. But how do we actually practice this in daily life? One effective exercise is 1-minute breathing. Simply pause for 1 minute and direct all your attention to your breath. Inhale deeply, feel the air filling your lungs, then exhale slowly, noticing the sensation as you release the air. This act of concentrated breathing acts as an emotional reset, bringing your mind back to the present. Another way to cultivate present focus is to engage fully in the task at hand. Whether you're writing an email, eating a meal, or taking a walk, commit to doing just that and only that. For example, if you are having a meal, pay attention to the flavors, textures, and even the act of chewing. Put away any distractions like your phone and immerse yourself in the experience. This mindfulness practice not only enhances enjoyment but also calms mental chatter that often pulls us into worries or regrets. Additionally, consider using a simple phrase as a mental anchor for present focus. It can be something like, "What can I do right now?" or "This moment matters." Repeat it silently whenever you feel your thoughts drifting elsewhere. This phrase helps redirect your attention and reinforces the habit of staying in the here and now. Over time, these practices create a sense of mental clarity and emotional steadiness, allowing you to tackle challenges with greater focus and poise. Staying grounded in the present might seem simple, but its transformative power lies in its consistency. When you align your actions and attention with the moment before you, you foster a calmer, more resilient mindset. Next, let's explore how gratitude, another fundamental Stoic practice, can shift our perspective and counteract negative emotions. Moving forward to the profound impact of gratitude, this Stoic practice is a powerful antidote to negativity and emotional turbulence. Gratitude shifts our focus from what we lack to what we already have, fostering contentment and emotional balance. But beyond simply feeling grateful, how can we actively incorporate this practice into our daily lives? One effective method is to start or end your day with gratitude prompts. Ask yourself questions like, "What went well today?" or "What am I thankful for in this moment?" Reflect on these thoughts, no matter how small or ordinary the answers may seem. For instance, you might appreciate a kind gesture from a friend, the beauty of a sunset, or even the comfort of a warm cup of tea. Writing these reflections in a journal can make the practice even more impactful by creating a tangible record of positivity that you can revisit during challenging times. Another meaningful way to practice gratitude is by expressing it directly to others. Take a moment to thank someone in your life, a family member, friend, colleague, or even a stranger, for something they have done or simply for being who they are. This could be as simple as a heartfelt verbal acknowledgement or writing a thoughtful thank you note. These acts not only deepen your own sense of gratitude but also strengthen your connections with others. If you prefer a more introspective approach, consider writing mental thank you notes. During moments of quiet reflection, mentally express thanks for specific experiences, people, or achievements. For example, you might silently thank a mentor for their guidance or appreciate the resilience you exhibited during a difficult time. This practice reinforces feelings of gratitude without requiring an outward action, making it a versatile tool for emotional mastery. To deepen this habit, try pairing it with an existing routine. For example, every time you sit down for a meal, take a few moments to acknowledge and appreciate the food in front of you. Where did it come from? How does it nourish you? This simple act cultivates mindfulness and gratitude simultaneously. Over time, practicing gratitude helps to rewire your perspective, making you more attuned to the positives in your life rather than dwelling on what is missing or wrong. It's a small but transformative shift that can provide immense emotional resilience. With this foundation of gratitude in place, let's now delve into the Stoic principle of distinguishing between emotion and action, a practice that teaches us to respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively, even during emotional highs and lows. Now turning to the Stoic reflections on mortality, this concept has been expanded upon by some of the greatest Stoic thinkers to help us confront and master our emotions. The idea of regularly contemplating our own mortality may seem somber at first, but it is deeply liberating when viewed through the Stoic lens. For example, Seneca emphasized that awareness of life's fleeting nature allows us to cherish the present moment fully. Instead of fearing death, this mindset encourages peace with the inevitable, freeing us from unnecessary anxieties and regrets. Marcus Aurelius urged us to reflect on how brief and fragile life is, not as a source of despair, but as a reminder to focus on what truly matters, living with virtue and purpose. A powerful modern application of this concept is the practice of writing a reverse bucket list. Instead of listing things you hope to do before you die, create a list of meaningful experiences you have already had, achievements you are proud of, and people who have enriched your life. Reflecting on this list helps shift your focus away from what you lack or fear missing out on, and instead toward gratitude for the richness of your journey so far. For instance, you might recall a trip you took that brought you joy, a moment when you overcame a significant challenge, or a relationship that has shaped you in profound ways. This activity combines the Stoic practices of gratitude and mortality awareness, offering a dual benefit of emotional grounding. Another practical exercise is to mentally rehearse how you might live today if it were your last. What would you prioritize? How would you speak to the people around you? What would you let go of? By integrating this perspective into your daily life, you align your actions with your deepest values, allowing you to live with intention rather than distraction. The Stoics also remind us that contemplating our mortality puts minor grievances into perspective. When viewed in the grand scheme of life, daily irritations, such as being stuck in traffic or receiving an unkind remark, seem trivial. This cosmic viewpoint not only diminishes the weight of small frustrations, but also instills a sense of humility and interconnectedness with others, recognizing that we all share life's impermanence. By embracing the Stoic practice of meditating on mortality, we cultivate emotional resilience and a profound appreciation for life. It teaches us not to fear the inevitable, but to use it as a motivator to live meaningfully today. With this perspective in mind, let us now explore another transformative Stoic principle, the art of non-attachment, and how it helps free us from emotional suffering. Moving forward, let's delve into the Stoic practice of non-attachment and how it can be applied specifically in areas like romantic relationships and material wealth. The Stoics teach that while it is natural to value and appreciate the people and things in our lives, emotional suffering arises when we cling too tightly to them. Epictetus eloquently stated that we should love others as if they were on loan to us, understanding that their presence is not guaranteed forever. This mindset is not about detachment in a cold or uncaring way, but about cultivating a sense of gratitude and accepting the impermanence of all things. In romantic relationships, practicing non-attachment does not mean withholding love or avoiding deep connections. Instead, it encourages us to cherish our partner while letting go of the fear of losing them. This involves focusing on the quality of the relationship in the present, rather than being consumed by anxieties about the future or holding onto unrealistic expectations. For example, instead of worrying about whether your partner will always feel the same way or whether the relationship will last forever, you can focus on being the best version of yourself in the relationship today. By doing this, you not only strengthen the bond but also free yourself from the emotional turmoil that comes with excessive control or dependency. When it comes to material wealth, non-attachment teaches us to enjoy what we have without allowing it to define our worth or happiness. Seneca reminded us that wealth is not inherently good or bad. It is our attachment to it that causes distress. Consider this: if your happiness is tied to owning a particular car, house, or piece of technology, losing it or failing to acquire it can lead to emotional pain. However, if you see material possessions as tools to be used wisely rather than as reflections of your identity, you remain grounded regardless of external circumstances. For instance, you might appreciate the comfort of your home but remind yourself that it is not the source of your inner peace or self-worth. A practical way to build non-attachment is through what the Stoics referred to as voluntary discomfort. Occasionally choosing to go without certain luxuries, such as taking a simpler meal or spending a day disconnected from material distractions, helps you realize that your well-being is not dependent on these things. Similarly, in relationships, practicing moments of solitude or self-reflection can reinforce your emotional independence and allow you to bring greater strength and presence to your connections. By embracing non-attachment, we learn to hold what we value with open hands. This frees us from the fear of loss and allows us to engage fully with life's experiences while remaining emotionally resilient. With that understanding, let us turn to another powerful Stoic practice, cosmic reflection, and how it can help us find perspective and humility in the face of life's challenges. Now turning to the profound practice of cosmic reflection, we enter a realm of Stoic thought that encourages us to see ourselves as part of a greater whole. The Stoics often contemplated the vastness of the universe to gain perspective and humility, reminding us that many of our fears and frustrations lose their significance when viewed through the lens of eternity. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, frequently reflected on the interconnectedness of all things and the transient nature of individual lives within the immense expanse of the cosmos. This practice not only fosters emotional balance but also a deep sense of awe and acceptance. To engage in cosmic reflection, one simple yet powerful exercise involves visualizing the scale of the universe. Begin by closing your eyes and imagining yourself standing in your current surroundings. Then, gradually zoom out in your mind's eye. Picture your neighborhood, then your city, your country, and eventually the entire planet. Visualize Earth as a tiny sphere suspended in the vast void of space, surrounded by countless other planets and stars. This mental exercise can help you put your personal challenges into perspective, showing how brief and small they are in the grand design of existence. Another guided approach is to reflect on the interconnected nature of life. Consider how every action, no matter how small, links you to a larger web of existence. For example, the food you eat, the clothes you wear, and the technology you use all come from the labor and resources of countless individuals across the world. Practicing gratitude for this interconnectedness can cultivate a sense of unity and reduce feelings of isolation or self-centeredness. You can also write down thoughts or questions that arise during your reflections, such as, what do my current worries mean in the context of the infinite universe? Or how can I contribute positively to this interconnected world? These prompts guide your mind toward constructive thinking, helping you move past negative emotions and embrace a broader perspective. Cosmic reflection is not about diminishing the value of your individual life, but rather about recognizing that your challenges and joys are threads in the vast fabric of existence. By regularly meditating on this, you can nurture a sense of tranquility and acceptance, knowing that you are a part of something far greater. With this perspective firmly in place, let us now explore another Stoic practice designed to enhance emotional control, self-distancing, and how adopting a third-person view of your own life can guide you to more rational and thoughtful responses. Now turning to the conclusion of our journey through these 20 Stoic ideas for mastering emotions, let us revisit the essence of what we have explored. From acknowledging emotions without judgment to embracing the vastness of the cosmos, Each practice is a stepping stone towards greater emotional resilience and inner peace. These timeless principles remind us that while we cannot control external events, we always have the power to shape our reactions and cultivate virtue in the face of life's challenges. Stoicism, at its heart, teaches us that by aligning with reason, focusing on what we can control, and embracing the interconnected nature of existence, we can unlock a profound sense of clarity and tranquility. The beauty of Stoicism lies in its practicality. You do not need to master all 20 ideas at once. Start small. Perhaps today you focus on identifying your emotional triggers or practicing gratitude for the little things in your life. Maybe tomorrow you reflect on the concept of Amor Fati, loving and accepting life exactly as it unfolds. Small, consistent steps will gradually transform the way you navigate your emotions and approach the world around you. As you embark on this journey, remember that the Stoics themselves were not perfect. They were humans like us, striving daily to live by their philosophy. Their wisdom is an invitation, not a demand, to grow and improve over time. Which of these Stoic ideas resonates most with you? Are there any you are already practicing or want to explore further? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your insights could inspire others on their path. If you found value in this exploration, consider subscribing to our channel for more content on Stoic living and practical philosophy. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an opportunity to deepen your understanding and apply these teachings to your life. Thank you for joining us on this journey, and remember, the best time to start mastering your emotions is now.